All right, today we're going to be solving one-step equations by multiplying and dividing, and some of them are going to have rational numbers like fractions and decimals. So the first thing I want to remind you about solving equations, we have this written on the other page, but just to always have it in mind that when you're solving an equation, to get rid of the number by the variable, do the opposite math of what you see. So you see addition, you subtract from both sides. If you see subtraction, you add to both sides. And today, if you see multiplication, you're going to divide and vice versa. So here's our examples. So today you're going to solve problems like, here's our first example. Negative 3x equals 99. So I'm looking to see what number is by the variable, and negative 3 is right by x. It's so close it's actually multiplying. These are multiplying each other. So to get rid of multiplication, we do the opposite. So I'm going to divide by a negative 3, because a negative divided by a negative makes a positive. So that negative is gone. So you want to make sure you divide by a negative if it's negative. When I divide by 3, the 3's cancel to just 1, and I'm just left with the x, which is what we want. So x equals, but don't forget, you have to keep the equation balanced. You do it to both sides. So I'm going to divide 99 by negative 3. I'm first of all going to think about my negative. So negative divided by a positive, my answer is certainly going to be a negative. And 3 goes into 99 33 times. And we can always check it by plugging in negative 33 back into the problem. So let's check it. I'm going to take 33, negative 3, times 33, does that equal 99? A negative times a negative is a positive, so yes, it checks, it works. So I know 100% I got that problem correct. All right, so your U-try is, and I want you to do it on this side of your notes. Listen up, the first U-try is negative 15 equals 5y. So go ahead and write that one down. You try it. Okay, we'll go over it in class. Here's our second one. Our second example. 12 equals x divided by 7. So this time, I'm looking at where x is, and I see that there's a 7 on the same side. I got to get rid of the number by the variable. I got to get rid of that dividing 7. So I am going to multiply by 7 on this side. And it's a fraction too, so if you wanted to think about it, it's like 7 over 1. And you can just cross cancel those 7's. And 1 and 1 over 1 all just simplifies to x. So x equals, but don't forget, you multiply by 7 here, you have to multiply by 7 here. So 7 times 12, 7 times 10 is 70, and 7 times 2 is 14. So 84. X equals 84. And there weren't any negatives in this problem, so I don't have to worry about that. I can always take 84 and plug it back into x to check it. So your U-try is, for number 2 U-try, is m divided by negative 10 equals 4. So that's for you to try. Okay. Here's our next example. So negative 1/3 p equals 12. Okay, so in this problem, I see that 1/3 is multiplying p. So I'm thinking I should divide by 1/3. Well, whenever you're dividing a fraction, don't you end up multiplying by the reciprocal, right? So we're going to skip the whole divide by 1/3, divide by 1/3. We're going to skip straight to the multiplying by the reciprocal and save ourselves a whole step. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -3/1. So times -3/1. See how these 3's cancel? The negative turns to positive, and you're just left with p. So we skipped an entire step, made it much easier. So p equals, over here, there's nothing to cross cancel. 12 times a -3 is -36. And I would suggest that you always check it. Plug p back in and multiply it by -1/3 and see if you get +12. So your third U try is -8 equals 2/5 y. Okay, so try that one. Our fourth example is 1/2 plus x equals -3 1/3. So here comes our rational numbers. This shouldn't be a problem. You know how to solve a one-step equation, and you know how to combine fractions. So we're just going to do them both at the same time. I see that 1/2 is being added to x. It's a positive 1/2. So to get rid of the positive, I'm going to subtract 1/2. And these two cancel out to 0. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to subtract 1/2. Well, I just have my x left. But over here, I need to get a common denominator. I'm going to change them both to improper fractions. So this becomes -10/3 minus 3/2. I'm going to multiply over here by 3 to get a common denominator of 6, and over here by 2 to get that 6. So these fractions become -20/6 minus 9/6. And I've got same sign, just add them up. So we end up with -29/6. And nothing, you can't simplify that fraction. You could turn it into a mixed number, but I don't require you to do that during the equation unit. So if you want to, though, it would be -6 goes into 29 4 times with 5 left over. So that could be a little or there. Your fourth U try is 2 3/4 equals x plus 3 1/2. So you can put that for your fourth U try. All right, and I'll see you soon.